Watching Kyle's unboxing videos again?
Yeah, he always finds the coolest... No way! A robot dog? Gotta ask where he got it.
Or use your Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. Just draw a circle around the dog on your screen, and it shows you where to buy it right in the app.
Whoa, I just learned a new trick. And that for once, I beat Kyle to the next big thing.
Circle it, find it with the new Galaxy S24 Ultra and circle the search with Google. Get yours now at Samsung.com. Internet connection required. Results may vary based on visuals.
Welcome to the Bare Naked ABCs, where we discuss every single Bare Naked Ladies song from the and we're gonna die a song that I don't know. Maybe I will. Who knows? But I think that is not a second best. I have Aaron that very, very good. I didn't say it was not anytime someone's writing about war and it's a Bush era song, it's political potentially, that leads me to believe that Ed was heavily involved. So I would say that it was a true Paige Robertson song, but maybe Ed had more of the writing to do and just kind of said, this is a song for you to sing, Stephen. What was the actual reality?
I think I am going to blow your mind.
Uh-oh.
This is a Hearn Paige Robertson song.
Oh, okay.
No way.
Wow,
it actually started as it actually started as a Kevin
song. Wow.
And then I'm guessing Stephen
did not expect that. I mean, not that I love Kevin's work, so it's no surprise. But like, yeah, I guess it's interesting to me. Like, I wonder who contributed what, because the melody, the vocal melody, is very Stephen. You know, like that's something that he probably wrote the vocal melody or tweaked it, I would think, because like of the way that it just sounds like a Stephen melody to me.
The fact that it started as a Kevin song, and I only know that because of a couple different things that are online, as well as on the limited edition extra DVD. So if you got this wonderful DVD, this is what most of the CDs looked like. But if you got the extra one, it had the DVD on the inside as well with all the extras from this album. And on the front, it had a special cover that said everything to everyone on the flag. But when you remove it, it's not there anymore. On the DVD, they do a lot of extras, and one of which is they talk a little bit about the songs. And that fact that this one was a Kevin song, but they didn't really go into it much. And so here's my guess. I don't know for sure. My guess is that Kevin started this off musically. Kevin is usually not highly political. So I'm guessing Kevin started this musically.
I could,
and then Stephen Ed threw in the lyrics.
There's almost a little, I don't want to say Beach Boys, but kind of like in the guitar and the bouncy guitar and stuff like that. And like, I could see him bringing that to the group. And then, Stephen kind of working up this kind of weird little energetic kind of step up, step back down, step up melody. And then Ed saying, oh yeah, let's make it about the fact that America loves war.
Let's take this really happy song and make it
I can totally hear the influence from all three, but who knows? I could have it exactly backwards. So boys, we know you listen, come on the show. Come and clear it up once and for all.
The other thing that I think is happened, if I had to guess what part Kevin wrote, if you listen to the demo, which we'll talk a little bit about the different versions in a little bit, there is a part on the demo that is very high in the mix that is not high in the mix on any of the other recordings. It is the part that when they play it acoustically that Kevin is playing, which is the high acoustic guitar notes. It's the repeating kind of very simple notes that hold the chords. And I would have to say that is the part that Kevin wrote. He came up with this piece and they're like, oh my God, that's amazing. And then they built on top of that.
That could be.
And then they realized how bad it actually sounds on the demo because it is mixed so high on the demo that you can hear nothing else.
Oh, wow.
I think, Aaron, I put the demo up for you on the drive. Or maybe I didn't. I might.
There was a version
have.
that said acoustic, but I actually
the demo is on Stop Us If You've Heard This One Before. I can play it really quickly here, so that way people can also hear that.
There we go.
This sounds very Beatlesy.
It does. It sounds early Beatles.
I was gonna say it sounded like post India Beatles.
I'm gonna stop it there just because I love that riff, but at the same time, hearing it over and over and over again.
I hear what you're
saying.
It's loud. It's pretty heavy. It's pretty high in the mix. I agree.
But I would say that was Kevin's part, which is a great part to start with. I love it. That being said, like it definitely needed to be toned down.
Look, it's very interesting. Go ahead, Stephen.
No, it definitely does carry whatever there is there musically.
It's a lot slower too. I didn't like how slow it was for that.
Yeah, I missed that energy. Yeah, I'm not tapping my toes or nodding my head the same way.
Yeah.
Even the acoustic version still got. It's real upbeat and it's very snappy.
Yeah, Jim is playing really fast on that acoustic version.
But I was just praising Jim's bass, like he was wicked on both the acoustic and the studio version.
If winning is an art, and it's drawn us apart, when you erase your heart and beat your chest,
It's really grooving and like. I don't know, not that I don't appreciate bass. It's just I'm a drummer, and the first thing I hear is usually the drums and the vocals, and then the guitar and the keyboards, and the bass is just kind of like for me, unless it's like really, really high in the mix or there's like a wicked bass solo or something. It's not that I don't care. I certainly do. It's just for me, it's part of like it blends into the background, which I know for most people is like drums and bass, the rhythm section, but I'm a drummer, so what can I say? But like I really noticed like amazing bass playing on this. Like Jim is just crushing it.
Yeah, they had the other day on the Bare Naked Ladies Fan Society. They had a question of what do you think is Jim's best song? This was mentioned, and I was like, yeah,
I can see why.
I could see that.
It features the bass, I would say, this song.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's pretty amazing.
Do you know if he's just on electric bass on that? I didn't get like all the full liner notes on that. Is that just electric, or is that?
I could not tell you because this is another one of those CDs where they don't divide it out by song. They only list off what it is for the whole album and then what people contributed for each song if they came in to do extra parts, but they don't break down each individual part.
Well, Jimmy's gonna have to come on and tell us what he played for that particular.
Yes. I'm going to back up. I'm going to say I was wrong. When we get to the lyrics, I will tell you why I'm wrong. Actually, I bet Kevin contributed more to this song than we realize. And I will tell us more about when we get to the lyrics.
Okay.
I think I was wrong on that, and I want to admit it.
Interesting.
Now.
Okay, but to that point, I saw on songmeanings.com or whatever, songmeanings.com. It said second best lyrics as written by Stephen Page and Kevin Hearn. So they didn't even cite Ed on that one. And I tried to look at what's the other one I go to? Genius. They listed all three. They listed Ed, Steve, and Kevin. And
Let me see
another
if that was
thing,
an oversight or
yeah,
change.
maybe. I mean, it's the internet, so
I would say it's an oversight because on the liner notes specifically, they don't split up. Because sometimes they'll say like words by so and so and music by so and so, and they don't do that on this album.
Yeah.
But I did just notice this is the second song in a row on this album that is a Hearn, Page, Robertson. Like they play them back to back on this album, and it is. Of the songs on this album, 1, 2, 3, 4. I know. Love hearing me count. 5. 5 songs on this album are Hearn, Page, Robertson.
Wow.
And two other ones are Cregan, Page, Robertson.
I think that's some sort of record.
That is because before this point, I don't think Hearn or Cregan had added more than a song or two to an album.
Yeah.
Is this...
And I was watching a video with Stephen was talking about this song, and he was saying the producer Ron Aniello encouraging him to like up the tempo in it. So the Stop Us If You Heard That one, Stop Us If You Heard this song before, whatever that CD was, that was a lot slower. So I don't know why, if it was just a different producer or what, but he did take it a lot slower. So
well, it was the demo, so it might have been what they played it like the first time, and then he was like, there's a few things we need to tweak here.
Right.
Stephen, you were going to add something.
Is this the album before Stephen left? I don't know which album it is.
No. So there's a double album that comes out after this, about 3 years later. That is that last actual studio.
Oh, 3 years
album.
later. Okay. I didn't know if Stephen was having issues at this point and he needed a little bit more collaboration, or.
I think there was probably already some tension, considering that I believe between this and Bare Naked Ladies or Me, they did As You Like It and things like that. So I think Stephen was really starting to feel a little cramped and wanting to do these different artistic projects.
Yeah.
Yeah. At which point the producers are like, "Oh, I know. Let's do a kids album and a holiday album."
You know what, Stephen? I take it all back. I would have quit too. I back you 100%. They do a kids album and a Christmas album. I'm out. I am 100% in your corner, buddy. That being said, please reunion.
I want to do some different things. You know, we just did Shakespeare in the Park. We have another one coming up that we're gonna do. Like, let's do something different. A kids album.
I feel like pick one. Pick one, Christmas or kids. Don't do both. God, that would drive anyone away.
Speaking of driving him away, BNL has only played this once since he's left.
Yeah.
They played it 32 times when he was with them between 2003 and 2008. And then they played it once after he left, and I'm thinking maybe they were like, yeah, it just does. It's not
Obama was elected
anymore.
Obama was elected in 2008, so the attitude was changing a little bit, probably towards America, at least for a few years, until the drone strike started up again.
I was going to say, because Steven has played this 6 times in Live from Home.
Oh yeah, so. and as well he should. It's a great song.
It is. Why don't we break this down musically and get a little bit more?
Yeah. So Second Best is recorded right around 159 beats per minute. Sounds like they didn't use a click track, but the sway is quite minimal. They're pretty locked in on this one. Again, thanks to some amazing playing by both Jim and Tyler. As far as the key is concerned, I really wish Heidi were here, because I feel like I got this wrong, or there's just more to the story. I need another music nerd to back me up. So any of you, feel free to jump in if you have something to contribute here, because I'm this one was different. It more or less fits into D major, except it neither begins nor ends on the key of the chord of D. Not that in itself disqualifies it from being a D major, but this one seems a little outside. The reason I stand by my D major hypothesis here is that at the very end, it's jumping from G to D back and forth over and over and over. So it's really hammering on ostensibly the 4 and the 1. And then it lands on A, which would be the 5th degree in D major. So it's not entirely unheard of to end on the 5th degree. One might make the argument that we're in like something like A mixolydian, and this is resolving to the tonic of that mode, but I don't know if I buy that. All the chords are more or less diatonic to D major, so that's why I'm calling it D major, but we'll get into it a little more here. So you have the intro, which is the same changes as the chorus, which is basically, again, just G to D, bouncing back and forth. So you have arguably 4 to 1. You have the verse, which is basically just vamping on E. It's just sitting in E more or less the entire time. So assuming we were in D major, that would be sitting on the 2nd degree for a very long time, which is a little unusual. The pre-chorus is kind of has the most movement in the song, right? So you go from G to A to E to D. So again, assuming we're in D major, we have 4 to 5 to 2 to 1, which is a little odd. The 4, the G in this instance, sounds more like the tonic, which I suppose you could make the argument then that specifically the pre-chorus is in G Lydian, maybe just for the pre-chorus. In that case, the changes would be 1, 2, 6, 5, which is a little more what it sounds like, a little more natural, because then you're ending on 5 and going back to 1. So I'm going to say that perhaps the key is D major for the most part, but in the pre-chorus, it's jumping to, what was it, G Lydian, yeah. That's just my best guess. So yeah, again, we know you listen. Very Naked Ladies, please come on the show and confirm this. And then finally, you have the chorus, which is the same as the intro. It's G to D, so you have 4 to 1. The form is you have your intro, which is your A section, your chorus changes. Verse 1, which is B changes. Pre-chorus, which is C changes. Chorus, which is A changes again. Verse 2, B. Pre-chorus C. Chorus A. Solo into verse 3, which is still all over the B changes, which is again just pretty much E. Pre-chorus C and chorus A. So it's basically A, B, C, A, B, C, A. There is no standard bridge to speak of unless you count the pre-chorus, but that functions again more like a pre-chorus than a bridge. It's present every time in the transition between verse and chorus. as I noted, I really like the verse melody. It's got this bouncy feel. Jim is absolutely tearing up the crap out of his fretboard on that bass. Like, oh my goodness, it's really tasty work on the bass, and some really nice backing vocals too. Especially as the song progresses, they get a little more involved, and there's more going on vocally, and I enjoyed the harms. But that's it for me.
I would concur with your statements.
I concur, Doctor.
He gives it a second vote.
Ah, yes.
He seconds that emotion.
I second that.
Self clap for you.
I wish I could break down the music more and give us more about like what what happens in terms of like the instruments and stuff, but I can't. There's not info for this song to be able to do that. And I mentioned a lot earlier in terms of like the demo and stuff. I do want to point out like there is a live version for the E2E tour that they did with Alanis after this. And it is harder on the guitar. So they really bring that guitar up a lot louder. Not the one that we hear a lot in the demo version, but but Ed's guitar is much louder. And there's also a much more of a guitar riff at the beginning of it. And I think the other thing I should bring up is there's also a lot of keys on this song. Like there's a lot of keyboard.
Which makes sense.
One or the other.
Yeah, it makes sense given it's a Kevin song.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? If you're a partial writer, then write yourself in. You don't want to be second best. Not to those guys. Come on.
Oh, and Kevin's not second best. He's an amazing writer, which it really makes me wonder why they felt like they needed to come in and why they needed to work on this, like what they needed to change on this, because Kevin is really good on writing. So I don't know. Maybe he was like, I just can't be sarcastic enough, guys.
Well,
Steve can definitely help
thoughts when we get to the lyrics on this.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have anything to add about the music on this song?
I agree with Aaron. It's like kind of bouncy. I would like to try to hear Jim's parts kind of isolated to see how he's rocking it, because I have a hard time breaking down who does what in any given song. But if you guys are saying that he's really rocking it, maybe I should listen to the song again and really try to focus on listening to the bass. I'd love to see how he really does it. And yeah.
Betsy, can you pull out your bass and just play that line?
Please do.
It's upstairs. It's been
one week.
Yeah.
It's been since 97 since I pulled out that thing. So.
Oh my.
It's a bit.
So you're saying you played it as a tiny baby?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I came out of the boom with it in my hands.
It was meant to be. Don't run from your destiny, Betsy.
No. Everybody else views the bass player as second best, so I don't want to do that again. I want the saxophone, damn it.
I mean, saxophone is a pretty amazing instrument. Don't get me wrong.
Am I the only one that doesn't play an instrument on this group?
Are you trying to
I don't play an instrument.
Huh. I've never played an instrument.
I tried. I failed miserably.
You can do some tambourine or something. Something.
Oh, well.
Little cowbell.
I think I was kicked out of the backgrounds even.
So why don't we move us over to lyrics?
Yes, lyrics.
Who would like to start us on talking about what this song is about?
Well, I'll start. I have no clue. What is this thing about?
Aaron, you kind of gave a guess earlier as to what this about. Was it a guess, or did you read up on this song? Or...
Okay, so here was my thinking. At first glance, it seems to be about someone who's seen as second best and maybe has a slight chip on their shoulder about it, right? However, lyrics like, if winning is an art, then it's drawn us apart when you erased your heart and beat your chest.
Speaking of which, love that line.
Yeah, I love that lyric. And that to me started me thinking, because it was very reminiscent, in my opinion, of another Canadian artist, Joni Mitchell, who wrote a song called The Fiddle and the Drum, which has a verse that says, and so once again, oh, America, my friend, and so once again, you are fighting us all. And when we ask you why, you raise your sticks and cry and we fall. Oh, my friend, how did you come to trade the fiddle for the drum? So that to me started me thinking about that. And then that would track with perhaps it's just as well that I still look like hell. At least the world can tell us apart. Because starting in the mid-noughties, all of the goodwill that America had earned after 9/11 had quickly been burned in the fires, stoking the wars in Afghanistan and especially Iraq. And I recall people saying, if you're traveling abroad, say that you're from Canada because people will treat you better. Yeah. So my interpretation of these lyrics, provided my analysis is correct, would be Stephen or D. Kevin, perhaps, or Ed saying, yes, Canada has its own problems. And yes, we don't exhibit the kind of power around the globe that the US does. But maybe that's a good thing, at least to the extent that people won't mistake us for warmongers.
Okay. We are warmongers, but
just a bit, yeah.
I don't know. A thought that crossed my mind right now is like, if you're a Canadian and you're in a Canadian band, why write from an American perspective?
Well, this is from a Canadian perspective, right? It's saying that Canada is viewed as second best. It's America's little brother, right? It's America light, half the war, half the calories. So I feel like that's what they're saying. Like we're viewed as second best or whatever, or we're viewed as kind of like, I think England feels very much the same after the whole Tony Blair thing and all that, like, I don't know, just America seems to be leading this cabal, and then there are other countries that are sort of backing America, but also sort of backing away and being like, yeah, maybe we don't want to be all in on this. So I don't know. That was just my interpretation.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
Betsy, what do you think?
No.
Sorry.
No, I was disagreeing. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Betsy? What do you think?
I kind of came at it from a different angle initially, and then I kind of inadvertently cheated. So, I mean, cheating via research, I guess. But so at first I got this.
Those damn people in college and high school taught us to do research.
Data. So I had a similar feeling when I was just kind of trying to go through the lyrics on my own as to what the second best was referring to. And at first I thought maybe it's like it did feel political to me. So I'm like, well, maybe are they referring to like Dick Cheney? Like, cause he's VP, he's second in charge.
Well, that's interesting.
Maybe it feels political. So maybe it's directed to him. But I'm like, it doesn't really quite fit. And I don't really know quite enough about him to know if he was like a chest beater or anything like that. So I kept kind of looking for more pieces of the puzzle, and then I went to song
only when he was getting his heart attack.
No.
I was waiting for it.
That's dark, but I like it. So I went to song meanings, and then I saw people's comments, and I'm like, oh, of course. But then I kind of cheated a little, and actually got some cool references that I did a little more research on. If are we diving that deep right now, or are we gonna
go right ahead? Yeah, because I have a few too, but it'll be interesting to see if you pick up on similar ones that I picked up on.
Okay, probably have the same ones, but so on the verse 2, it says, what's left of you that's real, a mutated ideal with limited appeal. I suggest, of course, that's kind of referring to USA. Then the next line says, "If winning is
I love
art."
that. The fact that, like, if so yeah, Aaron, you are absolutely correct. I will say, growing up, I had thought it was about kind of like being second best, but not beating up on yourself for being second best, and that it's not that bad a thing. But yeah, then I kind of like the older I got, the more I understood BNL sarcasm and that backhanded compliment that they love to do. And yeah, this is very much about how the U.S. is considered to be first and best, and Canada is often seen as its little brother to the north.
Right.
And this is very much a slap in the face of like, yeah, if you're the best, I'm good with not being the best. Like, and like, there's, I want to go through some of these lines that they say based on that, but go ahead, Betsy. I'll lead you from there. Because the mutated ideal, that, I mean, we started off as an ideal society around democracy.
Yeah. And that's actually going to get referenced again in the bridge, I think. But, so the whole, if winning is an art, I literally Googled winning is an art. And it came up with this book called The Art of Winning by, go with me, Matt Shona Dhlawayo, Dhlyway, if I can read my own writing. So he's a Canadian author who had like these 100 rules to live by and 2 manifestos. So he was very, I mean, you can go down a rabbit hole on him if you want, but he was very deep about the whole, it looks like all these poems and philosophy and everything. So I think he might have been referencing that. So that if winning is an art, then it's drawn us apart. When you erased your heart and beat your chest, which we talked about before. So I just want to mention on the bridge, where it says, "Is it you? Well, it's you enough, I guess. You're an angel in a see-through dress." I researched that one because I didn't know if it was just meaning like what exactly it could mean. And apparently there's painting by John Gast referencing Manifest Destiny in 1872. Oh, you got it too. And so it shows like a map of America, and it has an angel essentially with a sheer dress on, and it's going it's kind of like going westward, and so that's the angel in the see-through dress. That's quite literal. So Manifest Destiny reference, which is of course one of our charming periods in history.
Which is interesting because that's one of those paintings that I know as a kid, for me, growing up was referenced in the history books. Like whenever they would get to the part about Manifest Destiny, they would show that picture in the social studies books.
I've never seen it before.
And I think we're all, I don't want to assume anything here, but I think we all grew up in an era where Manifest Destiny was probably taught to us a little differently than it is today.
It's definitely
didn't focus on many of the negatives, let's say, back when I was taught it, at least. So it's good that I think the conversation around that whole thing is changing.
Agreed. Go ahead, Betsy. Sorry, I interrupted you there.
I think that was most of it. Let me just double check my scribbles here. No, I think that's all I got.
So I want to look at some of these lines.
Yeah.
I want to look at some of these lines through that lens of Steve, Ed, and Kevin being very sarcastic and backslapping, or backhanded complimenting us. I love right off the very beginning. Before we say goodbye, let's attack.
Mm-hmm.
Like we immediately like we're all gonna die, so let's attack before anything else has a chance. We're going to attack you. But the next set of lines is even stronger. I admit it's bleak, but I give it a week until our friends the meek give it back. Which at that point in time, knowing that this is about George Bush, knowing that this is about Iraq, we supposedly entered Iraq to set up this government because of Saddam Hussein and knock him out of power and set up our own government that we thought that and give it back to their own people. And I think that this is B&L saying, yeah, I give it about a week before they give it back to the dictators, before they give it back to the people that were ruling them before. Like, it's just going to return back to what it was. This is useless.
Yeah. It was never really about that. The whole that's why terms like Operation Iraqi Freedom or Operation Enduring Freedom or whatever were always so cynical, and so it's like, the Clean Air and Water Act that loosened restrictions on companies to be able to pollute more and stuff like that. It's the same kind of Orwellian double talk that you always get out of these things, unfortunately.
Yeah, two things. It's like, it's pretty egotistical for us to think that our method of government is
right
to others. And second of all, it's just nuts that we want to go in and restructure something that isn't working for us, or restructure something that has probably been around for a very long time, as far as government structure, into something that's not even working for us, that we're struggling with. So why? That's that's conceit.
Wait, are you saying that what's left of us that's real is a mutated ideal?
Absolutely.
I'm definitely listening to Party and the CIA after this episode.
I love that song.
Such a great song.
Meant to be more of a republic than a democracy. So, if you listen to the Pledge of Allegiance. Anyways.
Yeah, hopefully, ideally, a democratic republic.
Right.
Well, and that's it. It's an ideal that has fallen apart miserably, and Stephen then goes on. B&L then goes on to say, "Well, it's very unappealing at this point. It's limited appeal."
I kind of like. Sorry, on a side note, not necessarily breaking down the meanings of the lyrics, but I like how they take this last line, and they have the double rhyme. They're rhyming. Heart and chest, and suggest and art, apart, and then till our friends the meek, which rhymes with bleak and weak, give it back, which rhymes with attack. I kind of like that. I like how they break that down.
Yeah, they're getting a whole bunch of different rhymes in one or two lines there.
Come join the chorus of the unimpressed. It's better to be second best.
It's AAAB, AAAB. But the weird thing about that is it's AA at the end of the first two lines, and then on the third line of it, it's AB. So there's a line, a rhyme in the middle of that line. So what's left of you that's real, a mutated ideal with limited appeal, I suggest. And suggest is your B rhyme, because on the next part,
well, no,
so then it's AAAB CCCB. So you get the first three rhymes are together, and then this off rhyme. Like, what's going on? And then they come back and they start rhyming other ones, art, apart, heart. And then they come back at the end of that line and beat your chest rhymes with I suggest. So it's AABCCB. Like, that is thank you, Stefan. I didn't even pay attention to that, but that's a really intense rhyme structure.
Yeah, it's like the third line is it starts off with the A rhyme, but then there's like one that's completely different, but they bring it back on the last line.
Yep. And they do that with the first verse. Lie, die,
Yep.
goodbye, attack. Bleak, weak, meek, back.
Correct. It's kind of cool. I like that.
Sounds like Dr. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's kind of intentional. Maybe they're making it as confusing as war is. Like they're mixing everything up and just like, I don't know.
It's
Maybe it's
programmatic.
programmatic
Yeah, I
instead.
like that. That's a good take, Betsy. I like that.
Wow.
Goody.
I also want to look at if winning, I like that second half of the second verse. If winning is an art, then it's drawn us apart. So they're going with the art stuff. When you erased your heart,
Yeah.
and then they move away from it and beat your chest.
Yes. So, yeah. So they're saying that America has lost their caring.
Yeah, like we've given up. We think that winning is more important than caring.
Their initial intention as well.
We've traded the fiddle for the drum.
Gone astray. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
good point. I like the line, perhaps it's just as well that I still look like hell. At least the world could tell us apart.
Exactly, yeah. Better to be a passive aggressive Canadian, right, than just an aggressive American, I guess. Now I also want to listen to "I'm Afraid of Americans" by David Bowie, the Trent Reznor mix specifically.
Nice. There were alternate lyrics to this, which if you listen to the demo and you listen to some of the earlier stuff, you will get. So originally, and this brings me back to I think Kevin actually contributed more to this than we think. I think one of the lines that Steven changed was the angel in a see-through dress line. Because originally it was "You're a statue of Los Angeles." Which most people would be like,
okay,
why? What is that? Like, what does that mean? Why is that? Why would you put that in there? Kevin wrote a song for this album, and actually it was recorded during the E2E sessions called "Statue of Los Angeles." It was not put on the It was not put on the album, but it was recorded by Kevin with Thimbuckle for his album Miracle Mile just after this. The lyrics of that are, "We met at the Union Bar on Sunset Boulevard. Her beauty was pure to me, but then all that cosmetic surgery. She has changed now, and I can tell you how. She is a statue now, a statue of Los Angeles. We were young and innocent. I recall that very instant that I fell for her, but now that memory has been obscured." And I think that very, like, that metaphor of she is a statue of Los Angeles makes more sense knowing what that song is about, because I mean, very, very similar ideas between those. And if you put this song on the album before Second Best, you just made not just a callback, but a callback bringing to mind that exact thing that you're trying to say, not just about a person, but about a whole country at that point.
Yeah, this is interesting. Willing to harm ourselves in order to portray a certain image.
It is sad. It is sad what America has kind of been degrading to for a very long time, across a number of different areas. And I don't want to get political about that, but I will say that, like, we have become a warmongering country. Whereas if you look back at the Madison days, like, we believed in, you keep on your side of the Atlantic, we stay on our side. Like, don't involve yourself on, and it's sad that we have now become the exact thing that hypocritically we said that we were against.
Well, the one thing that's consistent with history is all empires fall.
Anyway, here's Wonderwall. You heard it here first, folks. The American Empire's inevitable decline. Here on the Feel Good podcast of the summer, Bare Naked ABC.
Somebody cue the Invader Zim Doom song, please.
No, I honestly, yeah, it's interesting because, you know, it's very much a song that's of its time, but to Tracy's point, to all of your points that you just made, actually, it's still very much prescient and it's still very applicable. And it's
we haven't changed.
I would like to see America be a more positive force for the world. But I'll stop my I'll get off my soapbox.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things that we can just keep on going off on. You know. But yeah. You know, we always think that the grass is greener on the other side. It's like, if you don't like America, get out. Well, have you looked into immigration laws in other countries? You can't really get out. They don't accept us.
They're not taking Americans at this time.
You can't even visit a lot of places right now. With COVID and everything, you can't even, you know, you can only visit Japan as part of a guided tour, for instance, right now.
It's pretty sad when Canada closes its borders to you and says, "Yeah, not right now."
Sorry, just come back later, okay? Bring some Molson.
It's I don't know. It's just, it's funny.
Well, I mean, Steve and Ed were saying that U.S. is best and that Canada is second best. But how do we want to rank this song? Do we think this song is second best? So I'm gonna, because it is a pro Canada song, I have two different rankings we can go with. We can go with the obvious, which is how many silver medals do you give the song?
Oh, I like that.
We can go with the less obvious statues of Los Angeles.
That's what I was thinking, but I like silver medals.
Oh, excuse me.
All right.
Well,
how about silver statues of Los Angeles?
Perfect.
Nice.
And since you came up with the idea, always to punish the person that's better than me, Aaron, I'm always second best to you, but how many silver statues of Los Angeles will you give this song?
Lies and slander, sir. Slander and lies. But yeah, it's, you know, it's like, I might put an asterisk next to this one and come back, because I do feel like I was really I didn't have as much time this week to prepare as other weeks. And I really was grinding it out with the analysis and everything. So, I don't know. It's like, it's definitely on my best of playlist, you know, so I know it's at least a 4. But I don't know how I would compare it to, actually, let me look at some of my like 4s. And so, okay, I gave It's Only Me, the Wizard of Magic Land, a 4.2. And I like that song better than I like this one. I like this song a lot, but I don't like it as much as I like the Wizard of Magic Land. So I'll say straight up 4 silver statues of Los Angeles. It's definitely on my best of playlist. It just makes the cut. I may come back to it. I may reevaluate, but it's definitely on the playlist. So I have to give it at least a 4.
All right. Well, let's see if Stefan agrees. Stefan, what would you give?
Well,
this
I thought
song?
it was a pretty good song. I liked the consistency of the beat all the way through, and it just sounded musically. It sounded strong. You know, it sounded like the instruments were quite loud and almost overwhelming in a way. To me, anyways, I don't know anything musically. I don't know, anything musically from my elbow, but I liked it. I thought it was good. I wouldn't consciously put it on my playlist, but if it was on my playlist, I wouldn't kick it off either, because it's decent. I thought it was, yeah, it's not bad. So, is it one of the best I've ever heard? No, but I'm definitely going to rewind it and re-listen to it so that I can listen for the bass, because I like doing stuff like that sometimes. So I think a 3.5 is good because it's great. It's a good song. They don't screw it up, and I like the I like the lyrical rhymage in there. And now that you guys are bringing up the Manifest Destiny and the art of whatever that other thing was, I forgot what it was. Art of Winning. Yeah, there we go. I was thinking Art of War for some reason, which is in a way the art of winning. And without talking about war anyway.
In the long run, it's the only win that really matters.
I know. So yeah, I think gosh, I'm kind of flip-flopping here. I think I'm just gonna stick with like a 3.5. I think that's it's between 2.5 and 5. I think it's good for me. I think yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Betsy, what about you? What do you think? How many silver statues of Los Angeles do you give this song?
That's a tongue twister.
Little alliteration there.
I'm really on the cusp of whether or not this would be on my playlist. So initially it wasn't, but after talking to you guys, it's higher.
Damn this podcast. It always happens that way.
Peer pressure.
I know.
Peer pressure.
I know. No pressure. But it's so close. I might try putting it on my playlist and seeing how I feel. So it's just on the cutoff of 4. So I'm gonna do like 3.942.
Ooh, so close. So close.
It's the answer to everything. 3.9 is fine.
No, I say 3.942. Keep that. Yeah.
Okay.
It.
I'm gonna stick with that then.
Stick to your guns.
And I'll put it on the list, and I'll put a little asterisk next to it, maybe.
Not to make things
okay, all right.
difficult on Tracy with the ranking. He might have to round up.
Give it a 3.33 with a line over it.
Yeah. I rank it as pi. 4 point.
I give it pi out of 5.
I had a 5. Oh my god.
By 5.
That's already been done.
Tyler
already did that one.
It's all been done before.
Betsy, you brought up the art of winning, which is funny because I was like, when you started saying the art of, my mind went to the art of the deal, of course, Trump. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense considering the conversation we're having right now. But then I looked up your reference, The Art of Winning, and I found there's another book called The Art of Winning by Dennis Conner.
Yeah, he looks skeezy, so I just went right past him into the more legit guy.
Did you happen to see
like a businessman?
Yep. Did you happen to see who wrote the foreword for his book?
No, was it Kevin?
Donald Trump.
Crazy. Yeah, I'd steer right clear of that. So.
I tell you, it's win, 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 or sell, sell, sell.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Betsy gets what I'm throwing down.
Very good indeed.
So I'm gonna try to sell people on getting this song to be a 4. I really enjoy this song. It is what BNL does best, which is having these great, depressing, sarcastic, acerbic lyrics, and then putting it behind it a beat and a sound that makes you want to get up and dance and like listen to it over and over again so they can drill their message into your head. And that's exactly what this song does. This song does it a lot better than another one we're going to come to in a few weeks that is also very political. Opposite ends of the spectrum. I really love what is trying to be said with this song. I love how it doesn't mention Bush. It really doesn't come right out and give any specific things, but it makes enough references that once you know what it's about, you can read it and go, oh yeah, all of that makes sense. But at the same time, it can mean something completely different. And it can also be applied to much later. And the fact that it still can be applied to the United States today, it makes a lot of sense. So for me, I went up and down with my rankings this week trying to figure it out. I'm going to give this a 4.63.
Wow. I'm the hater this week.
How's that haterade taste?
I'm usually the hater in most weeks, but I think I don't want to be negative. I think one of the biggest problems that BNL has is they're too smart for their own good. I mean, they need a podcast like us that breaks down the lyrics and be like, oh yeah, that's very smart. And manifest destiny and the art of winning. And we gotta break it down. It's like most people aren't going to do the research on these lyrics. So it's like if they're dancing around going, I'm getting a message. Well, what kind of message is it? Do they even know what the message is? I think BNL's intelligence is sometimes like kind of prevents a true message from getting out there without a breakdown. I think it's kind of
well. I mean, I hate to say it, but BNL. I mean, Ed, Steve, all of you got to understand. We're here. Like, I created this podcast for one reason: to convince people to listen to more BNL and to really dig deep and enjoy them. My job, really, honestly, is to sell.
Oh my gosh!
Sell.
It kind of reminds me of. I actually would be curious. Dan Harmon, we know you're a fan. We know you listen. Come on the show. I was watching Community. I was giving it a rewatch a while back, and there was the episode where they mentioned bare naked ladies, and at one point, they all start defending BNL to Jeff, who's being cynical. And they're like, "No, they're great. They're Canada's beloved, folk rock alternative iconoclasts, and I think it was Annie was like, yeah, BNL is amazing, and Jeff's like, oh, they're BNL now. Honestly, I don't know. It's written from a perspective where Jeff's kind of incredulous, but it sounds like whoever wrote that was actually legit a BNL fan. So I'd be curious to know that.
That's funny.
Dan Harmon, come on the show. We know you listen.
Please. Oh my God, I could die happy.
This week's appearance, as we'll finish with that since I'm done selling this song and the album. This week's appearance is Kevin. You want to hear more Kevin? Like, the song was written by Kevin, or at least started. Kevin actually did a lot of work on John Bora's 2020 album Blue Wine. Matter of fact, he did a lot of work on the cover called Foggy Notion, where they covered Velvet Underground's song.
Nice.
So I would recommend that. I mean, Kevin knows John Bora through Lou Reed, and of course they're going to then cover Foggy Notion. But it is an amazing album. It's really kind of neat, and I would recommend going out and listen to it, especially if you want to hear more Kevin.
Thanks for the reference, Tracy.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh. So what's next week's song?
Next week's song is Sell, Sell.
Oh, we already had our segue. Okay.
All right. That's why
I thought you were making a Jim Cramer reference.
I thought it was another book by Trump or something like that, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
So, The Art of the Deal, The Art of Sell.
I don't know.
It could be.
You know what's interesting?
I didn't know. I thought
you guys say that, and let me see. 1, 2, 3.
So you can count to 3.
3 of the 3 of the S's are about Trump, and are about Bush. So this year we're going to be talking about Bush a lot.
There we go.
It's like we're Monty Python. We'll be talking about the shrubberies.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, I had 2 points I wanted to say, actually. The best version that I've heard of this song was actually the Ships and Dips version, because they have like a lot of ad lib before. So if you're going to listen to it, I think maybe it's not the best like quality, but it's definitely the most entertaining. And I would say, to Stefan's point about the whole BNL, having that double meaning, that they also came out in the time of like Pearl Jam and Nirvana, where they're like, heavier lyrics.
Yeah.
And then you have the heavier lyrics and you flip the tone.
Yeah. That's
BNL. So I think that's why I love them so much, and why it's like they're so refreshing and everything. And then to the point of sell, 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 I really want that to be a subtitle to a microbiology book.
Microbiology book. Oh my Lord.
Sell, sell, sell.
Yes, CELL.
Okay.
That's awesome.
I'll see myself out.
That's awesome. I love micro. That was my favorite class.
I like it.
I do want to throw a shout out to Lynn Collins, who wrote me a very wonderful letter this week to our mailbag, and it does not have a chimpanzee on this postcard. Lynn, what? Come on.
Disappointing.
But it's amazing. She just got done listening to Silverball, and
yay!
Yeah, she just got done listening to our discussion of Say What You Want, and she gives us a really great breakdown of not just that song, but 5 other songs on that album.
Fantastic. That's awesome.
Lynn,
come on.
So I wrote back to her. I'm like, well, I can't sit here and read this. You gotta come on the show and just talk about it. And so she will be coming back on and coming on and talking with us, and sharing these wonderful
fantastic
thoughts.
Yeah, we want more of that. Come on over, people. Come on the show.
So yes, if you've got thoughts, write to us. We want to hear them. And if you're like, I don't want to come on, write them. I'll read them.
Unless it says, I don't want Stefan on the podcast anymore.
Oh, I don't tell you about all of those.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. I'm only second best.
Stefan, you're always second best to me.
Wow.
I'm
tearing his heart out.
Best right now. Gosh.
Ouch.
I'm the pedestal under the Statue of Los Angeles. I'm like the sewer grate underneath the pedestal.
Stefan is the sewer that has the crocodiles.
Or he's the clown that's in the sewer, maybe.
I would love to be the clown in the sewer.
Oh, he's Pennywise. I get it. Yeah.
That'd be great.
I understood that reference.
Stefan Wise.
Oh, that was great. I can't even do an impression. Oh, that was great.
What are we doing now? Are we selling Stephen King books now?
Well,
sure.
Stephen King, we know you listen. Come on the show.
So.
All right, get you guys ready for this? Hold on. Wait, ready?
Oh, The Art of Gore. Nice.
Oh, I like that. Okay. Jake, we know you listen. Come on the show.
From State Farm?
No, I don't know. There's got to be someone out there named Jake that listens. That was like, wait,
He's
what?
wearing khakis. Yeah.
Message us and come on the show, Jake.
Maybe what we can do is we can have a live podcast in one of their back rooms after a concert.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be fantastic.
Should have done that during the meet and greet, I guess.
We'll go into their dressing room.
So you're suggesting we should coerce foreign nationals into doing something that's in our best interest? Wow, we really are Americans.
Oh, of course. That's the only way to do it, isn't it?
I mean, the only step that would make it more American is if you say it has to be done with guns.
All right.
But we promise but not to use guns, just harsh language.
We can do it at the Canadian Naval Base here in America. Oh, wait. There isn't.
That was wow. That was a flex and a half.
Lexon. I'm trying to show my
Holy
flex.
moly! That was like a bow flex.
Wow.
That's funny.
And on that note,
Jeff Norris.
Thank you guys very much for joining me. It was a lot of fun.
Was
Yes,
it?
as always.
Well, let's
Homework
get this
for me,
going so you
Stefan.
can get some rest so that way you can do well on the test.
Got arrested. I just look like death warmed over. That's all.
I mean, I don't.
I can only see your eyeballs.
Yeah. I don't even know where the camera is on this thing.
It's right in your eyeballs.
Yeah.
3/4 of your nose. I can't see any boogers, so.
So I lost my glasses in Sebago Lake as well.
Oh, jeez.
So I can't see Jack Diddley.
Who's that?
Okay,
I've never
he's not
heard
here
of him.
tonight.
Jack
Yeah.
Diddley?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's related to
Is he
John.
Bo's brother?
Yeah. Oh,
He
yeah,
is,
Bo.
Is he Bo's Bo?
Bo Diddley.
Bo's bro?
Bo Diddley.
Bo, bro.
Bro.
All right, let's get this baby going.
Okay, I don't know if I've already mentioned this, but Jim is crushing it, holding down these
Hey, Aaron.
Oh, Aaron's.
grooves, like
Hey, Aaron. Aaron.
wow.
Aaron.
Very
Aaron. Can I interrupt you, Aaron?
You're frozen, buddy.
India Beatles.
Hey, Aaron.
Yes.
You're frozen, buddy.
Hello.
Aaron, can I ask you a
Yes.
favor? Because I'm getting the feeling that internet is being weird like right now, and we are getting sunspots
Yeah.
that are hitting us. Can you record on your end?
Yeah, let me do that.
And then if you're going in and out, at least then I know I'm getting it and I can edit it in later.
Yeah, did I turn into Optimus Prime there for a second?
You pretty much just
a very
froze.
a geriatric Optimus Prime. Yeah.
Geriatric Optimus Prime. Optimus past his prime.
Oh,
Optimus past his prime.
Yeah.
Oh,
Optimus, non-optimal Optimus. Yes.
Sub-Optimus Prime.
I'm
Or
glad
your
I'm recording this.
mortgage officer.
Spit hot
He got
tea
into
everywhere.
he got into real estate. He was sub-Optimus subprime.
Oh.
He's definitely second best then.
All right, I am now recording locally,
I
so
mean, that's
sorry
okay.
about that.
No, that's
Not
okay.
sure what's going on with my interwebs.
So
I
what
can
were
hear
you
you,
saying?
all of you. I don't even remember now.
To celebrate joining Pantheon Podcasts, Rock Camp, the podcast, the official podcast of Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, is giving away a guitar signed by Mike Portnoy of Dream Theater, Marty Friedman, formerly of Megadeth, and legendary shredder Zakk Wylde, plus our rockstar counselors like Vinny Appice, Monty Pittman, and more. To enter to win, simply follow, rate, and review our podcast on your preferred platform, and that's all you have to do. For more information, go to rockcamp.com/podcast.